Going on, brother?
Hey, what's up, man? How you feeling today, bro?
Good, good. Thank God. How are you? Looking
I'm
fucking swole, man.
oh, thank you, man. I'm thinking I got some new tattoos. I'm feeling it. I got some. I don't know if you
I
can.
saw the American flag, right?
Yeah, got a couple other pieces, but I got a bunch of. I got the aquaphor on it, so you can't really see it too much. But
Nice.
I'm feeling it.
I'm getting the IFBB fucking tattoo very
It's
soon.
fun, bro. I would do the same, but I'll probably get it here. I'll probably get like I.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you got it. Listen, we could all act like we too cool for school, but the truth is, we all grew up, and that was what we wanted to do. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong to people like to downplay how they feel about the sport sometimes. Oh, but it's like it's okay to be excited. That's why I like a Milos, right? Milos always like, but
Oh yeah.
he showed the passion. I think a lot of people try to downplay, like, yeah, it's okay. And it's like, you don't have to downplay, but it's okay to actually love something and be passionate about something. That's completely fine.
Oh, dude, I'm the opposite. I don't give a fuck. I tell everybody how I feel about it, how it's the best thing, how it's literally one of the hardest things you can achieve.
Yeah,
And whoever tells you, oh, they're handing out too many pro cards, and he is not a pro himself,
bro.
I stop and I question why he's saying or she's saying that.
Okay, but
Uh,
if you notice that it's a lot of times with people who have never turned pro that say that, you know,
yes, yeah, yeah.
because you got to look at the numbers. Like, it's a different ballgame. They used to be maybe 100 competitors, and then now you got thousands and thousands and thousands of people competing, people coming out the woodworks. It's never going to be easy to be a professional and the best in the world at anything, bro. It'll never be easy. It might look easy
Right.
sometimes, but actually try to do it, and that's when you're going to realize how difficult it is. You know what I'm saying?
I also wanted to follow up on this thing, and if you really notice, dude, like, can you name one person that has a pro card that shouldn't have a pro card? Physique wise, don't talk about height because obviously there are shorter people, but is there somebody that is a professional that got their pro card that you
Yeah.
think they don't necessarily should be a professional? I haven't seen one yet, to be
Yeah.
honest.
There's people where maybe I don't prefer their style of physique, but I've never looked at somebody and be like, this person should not be a pro. And at the end of the day, if you earn it fair and square, you earned it, man. Even if, like I said, even if you don't like their physique, you earned it. You know what I'm saying? You earned it. So I feel like nobody should ever downplay or somebody that, and no pro would ever do that. I feel like it's usually people who aren't pros that like to downplay,
Mm.
talk, oh, his calves are too small. Like, people who do this, they never they never say those kind of stuff, bro. You
Yeah,
know.
some dude on my IG one day, he
Uh-oh.
said, uh, "You turned pro at USA's winning light heavies. Back in the day, you wouldn't with this physique, you wouldn't make top five in back in the day USA's." And because he was 17th or 18th place,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he never turned pro.
Oh,
So he's coming after the guys who are. He literally said the same comment on my page and on last year's light heavyweight winner.
yeah.
Same comment. My friend Brandon,
Well,
who turned pro last year's USA's, and
well,
he said the same thing. And he's like, "You guys won't be in the top 10 when I was competing." I'm like, "Okay," says the amateur.
exactly.
you
You
know,
know what? It's unfortunate. This happens in a lot of sports, but the most in bodybuilding, where some of the old school guys, instead of trying to help the sport move forward, they're almost like spiteful. And I don't understand where the spite sometimes is coming from. They have this sense of nostalgia and spite. Okay, yeah, everybody, your dad is gonna say, "Oh, music back in my days is better." Okay, it's just sound. You like it better. That's fine. But like, they'll really swear up and down that their condition was better and they were bigger and they were fuller. And like, on what base? What are we talking about here, bro? Like, you would see like one guy with shredded glutes. Nowadays, you're not even, bro. You could barely win a local show without your glutes in. Like, let's be real. Like, there's local shows that I see that you're not, if you don't bring shredded glutes, you can't win a local show, let alone a pro show, let alone the Olympia. There were guys at the Olympia with not one line on their glutes, placing top 10. To think about it, though, for
Oh
you,
yeah.
yeah. So for you to say, oh, the condition was so much, but somebody like Dexter, that's why I love Dexter, because he competed in 90s, 2000s, 2010s, and 2020s. That was 4 generations. So when they asked him, he gave the best answer. He was like, yeah, guys say, well, we were more shredded in the 2000s or 90s. Well, you had the ability to be drier and come in flat and still get, the nod. Whereas nowadays, you have to be shredded, but you have to be bursting full and big. And he was like, so he had to change that, because coming from the 90s, 2000s, he had to be bigger and fuller and filled out all the time. You couldn't just be dehydrated and take a bunch of diuretics and just come in super lean and dry and win. That's not a thing anymore. You come in that flat. I mean, like for me at USA, I came in super flat. I didn't win. Would that have worked maybe back in the days if you just come in super peeled and flat? Maybe. But now you got to be big and round. Guys are still shredded. They're just bigger. That's why maybe it might look like, well, guys are, maybe they're softer. But no, bro, these guys are shredded. It's almost unbelievable to fathom somebody being that big and shredded. Like, the sport has progressed. Like,
I honestly think today's conditioning is a lot better, to be
I
honest.
agree, 100%.
Oh, yes. And on top of that, to be honest, man, there's two types of competitors in this world. No matter whose win is it, we can be happy for the winner.
100%.
We can't take away from anyone's success, to be honest.
Yeah.
It was either if it was an easy win or a hard win.
Yeah.
Never shit on someone's success, at least not publicly,
Exactly.
And it goes back to the last podcast, what we were talking about, bad sportsmanship. This is the same thing, bad sportsmanship, but online.
100%.
Like, why would you say that? It's literally who you're competing against on that day. That's it. I don't fucking control who shows up. I don't control the judges. I control literally how I look. That's it.
Exactly, bro. Yeah. So, and it's like, there's a way to say these things, right? It's like this. Well, like people at the gym, they'll be talking about bodybuilding. I don't have to prefer your physique to respect you as a bodybuilder, right? But I'll have people at the gym. I hate Nick Walker. He says he's so bad. He's so ugly. I'm like, bro, relax. Like, you could just say, bro, I don't prefer that kind of physique. Maybe I don't like, but they're so harsh. Like, I would never want to, like, Hottie is nasty. I'm like, bro, it's just too much, bro. It's too much. We can just agree to disagree. I prefer, because me personally, I prefer Derek's physique. I prefer Samson's physique, but I fully respect Hottie and Nick Walker. Like, these guys are killing the game, and they're one of the best in the world. I mean, Hottie is the best in the world, and Nick has the potential to be Miss Olympia. Okay, does he have the same gifts as Derek and Samson and Andrew? No, or Regan? No, he doesn't have those gifts, but that's okay. Like, he didn't create himself. Like, he didn't, you know what I'm saying? He's just doing what he has. I wish I had calves like you, but I don't. You know what I mean?
I wish I had fucking arms like you. You want to swap them out?
But you see, we respect each other's physique. We're not like, it's just silly, bro. And I don't feel like anybody who's actually done well in bodybuilding ever talks like that. I never hear Jay when have you ever heard Jay talk about how bad these guys are and how nobody works hard? And that's like, how do you know what we're doing? Like, how do you know how hard we're working or how much drugs we're taking? This idea that all I did was 500 tests and we never did any SEOs. But
Jay does the opposite. That he brings him on to the podcast. He sits down with whoever is coming up. They give him, an interview. To be honest with you, man, a few weeks back, he gave me an interview. When I first turned pro, man, he gave me some time under the sun. And I really appreciated such a world-class champion looking for this upcoming generation, giving us a little platform to talk about ourselves, our prep, who coached us, how we did, what we did. That's kind of nice to see from someone who's a legend. No one in any other sport kinds pay it or pays an effort to the next generation coming up in
Yeah.
other sports, at least. You know what I mean? Like this is the first time I see genuinely and without getting paid, just because you did it too.
Yeah.
Let me help you get a platform so you can tell me about your story.
Like,
That's very nice, you know.
it's like you've had your time. You've been the top of your game, and now you have to be okay with the new generation coming in. But that would be equivalent to us in the gym, and we see a young guy trying to work out, and we're like trying to flex and like, no, this is my gym. I don't want like I don't want you to get bigger than me. It's such an insecure mindset to have. Like you should want your son or your children to be better than you. You shouldn't be arm wrestling your son like, yeah, you're never gonna beat me, son. You should be like, yo, son, I want you to be a better man than I was. So he should be paving the way. If you think the posing sucks today, help them out. Become a posing coach. Help them pose better. If you really believe that. If you think the conditioning sucks, become a coach. Show them how to get in shape. Instead of sitting in the back just talking, oh, this is the it doesn't add up. That's why I have so much respect for the guys like Jay Cutler, DJ, Dennis James. I think they're some of the best retired bodybuilder when it comes to promote. I mean, obviously Fuad.
Milos too.
Milos. You can't. Milos.
Yeah.
He's so excited. He loves his game so much. I've never heard him say a bad word to anybody. And when he says any critique, he says it to your face because he's trying to make you better. He's not concerned in going and talking behind your back. He'll tell you to your face, hey. Like every time you have somebody, he's on a podcast, he'll look at them and say, hey, listen, this posing was this way. I think you can be, because he's really trying to help you. You don't have to be his client. He doesn't, and this idea that, he joked about it now, like the biased coach, right? But if you pay attention, he's been saying this about Regan before he worked with Regan. Like, it's not because, yeah, and he still talks so highly about, I have talked about Sean Clarita super highly, or Kamal, like he big ups these people so high. Max Charles, even when he stopped working with Max, he was still big up in him. But yeah, Max, he has so much potential because it's not a bias. He just loves, he wants to see everybody win. He wants to see Derek at his best and Hadi at his best. He loves the game, and that's how people should be. I don't like the animosity that people don't work hard and they take all these drugs. Man, guys are busting their ass. You don't get to any level without busting your ass severely, you know what I'm saying? So
shout out to Milos. One time I did I was in 2019, I was about 3 weeks out from California State Championships. And I saw him at Fit Nation and I was like, oh my God, this is Milos. And at the time he was waiting for his client. So I caught him in a really good time. And I'm like, Milos, can I please pose for you? And you know me, bro. I drop trout and I start posing immediately right away just to get some critique, you know?
Yeah.
It was really nice from him. Someone who's also a legend, gives me pointers and gives me basically a free posing session that helped me out a little bit, you know? And looking back at it, I was out of shape in terms of 3 weeks out. I was way out. I looked like 8 weeks out at 3 weeks out. And it's kind of nice to see that he didn't say that to me. I know he'd seen what 3 weeks out conditioning looks like. And it's awesome that he didn't say, oh, you can't make it to the show, with getting peeled, you know? He just helped me hide my weaknesses better. So that was kind of cool, because if he was like Sean Ray, he would have immediately said, oh my God, you're out of shape. I don't want to look at this. You see what I'm saying? But different perspective, because he's such a fan. He's like, you know what? Pose. Let me see what you got. Yeah.
Sean Ray is on a whole different level, man. We're not even getting into that. Sean Ray, I don't understand why he's like that. He's like the epitome of what I was just talking about.
But it's day and night between these two. One criticizes you for actually making you better, and he would tell you, hey, listen, I'm trying to say this to make you better. The other one just makes up crap and says shit about you. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Like Ken said he didn't get the link. I resent it to him, so he should be on surely. Let me see. Yeah, I sent it to him on Instagram and text, but I think he got an Android. You know these Androids, man. Oh no, they The Androids are no good, man. You gotta get the
Yeah,
iPhone. Bro. I can't do the Android. The whole once I see that green text, I'm like, oh man, this is gonna be rough. This is gonna be
I
rough.
can't lie though. The one that folds like a book, it
Yeah,
was
yeah.
pretty cool.
Oh, you like that one?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But it's like the operating system of it. I don't like. Apple's better.
I think because everything regarding social media, like kind of caters to Apple, you know. So when you start using these apps and stuff, it's literally like they make it almost for Apple, you know. So if you have any other brand, it's almost like secondhand. Like, they're like, we're gonna make this app so for this, you know. The app game is controlled by uh by Apple. But let me see. Let me share the screen real quick. They having the Legion today. I don't know what time the pros are gonna get on because I've seen the classic guys.
Prejudging only already started, right? For the open class.
I think so. I'm not 100% sure, but I know I saw what it's called. I saw a classic. Oh, what's this?
By the way, where did Paul place?
I don't know. He hasn't been posting. He hasn't been posting a lot. He did Masters. I didn't see the coverage for that. Oh, this is Paul, right? Isn't this Paul? That's
Yeah,
Paul.
yeah, yeah. That's
Oh,
him.
I don't even know who won the Masters. Let me.
Ken Johnson.
What's his name?
Ken Johnson. He won
Oh,
it for 3 times in a row now.
whose page is this? Glass.
See the guy in the back? The guy that looks like Sean Roden from far away.
Oh, he won. Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
he looks amazing.
Yeah.
Trying to see which page you think has the. Well, I would assume Legion would have, but probably not. Probably Bodybuilding Without Borders.
Uh, what's that guy's name? And I always mess it up. Sukulos.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I think he probably has that. You said
Yeah.
Sucralose.
Sukulos. Sukulos.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
let me see.
Sukulos.
Oh yeah, he has it.
Yeah. He's a lawyer, yeah?
I think so. I know he used to compete, but
Yeah. He's a good man.
yeah, he's super cool, bro. Who is this?
He's a big guy, by the way. He's not small at all.
Oh yeah, I could tell he's tall by the thing, but I've never seen him in person. But if he used to compete, yeah, I would imagine he's probably pretty big. What's
That's
this?
a British guy. Something if Lewis, right?
Oh, yeah, Lewis Breeder.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, here was our man right there.
That's him and Andrew. Also, he won the Olympus. This is the other show that won.
Theo. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know Theo is like 24?
No, I never knew how old he was. He's young. He's a young guy.
Yeah, yeah, either 24 or 25.
Damn, it's amazing, man. It's amazing to see people do shit like that.
Yeah, yeah. He's going to the Olympia already.
That's wild. This is first time.
The first time. Yeah, he did like 6, 7 shows right now this year already.
Man, he looks amazing. It's just that, bro, so many people look amazing nowadays, bro. I don't even
Yeah.
know. Like,
Now that's what's happening. They're giving one European show to each guy each time
yeah,
because there's so good talent out there. Roman won one.
He did.
Roman won one. Theo won one. Nathan won. Regan won. Who else won? European shows. Romania's still coming up.
I know this guy. What's the Presley? Didn't Presley win one?
Presti won. Yeah, yeah. Crizo, another one. Yeah, man. Like when people tell you there's no new good talent, that's nuts when I hear that. Like there's overflood of good new talent.
Oh,
Actually, you seen this dude?
I want to have him on. Me and him been cool on social media for a while now. Like before he started winning all these shows, but I always thought he had a because he used to train with Andrew, and I always thought he had a career. He looked like a mini Andrew, but like full, you know. So I always thought he would do really well, but just I didn't see him compete that often because he's in the elite, you know, he's in the IBB elite. So it's a bit different, but
He should cross over definitely.
yeah, I mean, I think uh, I talked to him and he was like, he gets paid really well there. Like he won like if he won I think 60K the last show, and if he won this was a bigger show, so he probably won more than 60K. If he's making two 300,000 just from competing over there, I don't
Yeah.
know. But honestly, he could be like the way Andrew is. Like Andrew is making good money because he's high level. I think he can do the same, but I don't know if he's gonna make as much money. For us, like it's not really about the money as long as we can make a living. But we would rather just have the prestige of our IFBB. But it all depends,
Mm.
man. He lives over there in Dubai. They treat him really well. He's I don't know if he has any incentive to come over here. I never hear him speak English, so I don't know how good his English is. I don't speak. Oh, but Ken might speak. Hey, was it good, Ken? How you living?
Hey, what's up, guys? Sorry I'm late.
No, no,
What's going on, bro?
Someone forgot to send me the link, you know?
no. I sent it through the message. I don't. Did it go through, or did you want to go to the IG?
I had to go through IG.
Okay, yeah. So for some reason, it's not. It wasn't going through. But I was talking about this guy. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but he's a beast. Let me actually pull up his page. I want to have him on the
Oh
podcast. You might have to translate though, Ken.
yeah,
Where is he from?
Nigeria, bro.
I think he's half Nigerian, half something. I think Cameroonian or something.
Oh, you're right. What's that other flag? I don't recognize that
Yeah,
flag.
I think Cameroon or so. I'm not too sure, but
Oh,
but
okay, okay.
he speaks English. I know that he was competing. What I do know about him, he was competing with Andrew in the other league.
He was, yeah. He's still there now. He won their Mr. World or something like that. But
Look at that side chest. That's nuts.
yeah, last time I talked to him, he was making too much money. It just wasn't any incentive, and I know he won 60K from one of the shows. So I mean, listen, if he's making that kind of money from show to show, then this guy's dense, man.
Yeah, and
He looks like
that's the thing,
Brandon
right?
Curry.
Look at Kamal, right? That's the reason why Kamal didn't come over to the IFBB for so long, or he didn't turn pro, because he was making so much money. The government, the Libyan government, was sponsoring him, buying him houses and all this stuff for a very long time, which is why he didn't turn pro.
Yeah,
And I think it's the same thing for him. It's not even just the prize money that he's making.
the
His
living.
sponsorships, the gym that he's at, because I think he's at the Olympia gym.
Yeah,
That's what it's called, right?
yeah. They got Benos. He goes to Benos and Olympia gym, and they both roll out the red carpet for him, man. They roll out the
Yeah.
red. Yeah.
It's like unless he's at that top level like Andrew, right? You have to consider as a bodybuilder, is it really going to be worth it? Like obviously for us, like we're the IFBB is all we've known.
Yeah,
But if there's another avenue to make money and he's already doing it,
it doesn't.
you really want to give that up and come here and start from the bottom. Crizzo, it's like Crizzo, right? Crizzo is a good example. Crizzo during the IFBB, and obviously he's not the number one anymore like he was in the elite. So it's like I don't know how that affects him financially, but I have to believe it will be the same for Destiny. If he comes over to the IFBB. So I don't know. It's definitely a discussion point. It's like, where is it worth it? The title versus actually making money.
Yeah, yeah.
Doing this as a living.
I mean, Crizzo went from making 50, 60K a show to making 10K. Not that all his money comes from contests competing, but that's a blow, man. That's like what 20%. 20% of what you were making. So hey, listen, man, I can't blame him. Like we grew up on IFBB, like Olympia and all that. So that's all we think about. But these are grown men. They got mouths to feed. I do understand it, and also the way they get treated. He is in Dubai, and I feel like the elite is bigger there. So I mean, if he left, it would also might cause some bad blood and stuff. So there's a lot of reasons why he would feel comfortable staying. Man, I honestly, for him, unless he's gonna win the Arnold or plays top 5 at the Olympia, there's really no incentive because all the other shows are really what 10 to 20K, So I don't know. I don't know.
Do you know his weight? Would he be a 212 or open?
Man, he looks like he's about 5'6". Looking at his muscle mass, I don't unless he
There's no way this guy is 212. There is no way.
man, unless he holds it really well. I can't. Bro, Nick Sheffield Power keeps saying he's classic because the shorts, but that's just the thing they do in Dubai. In Dubai, they don't want to wear the underwear because it's like, it's like
Not classic at all.
respect. So some of the shows in Dubai, they don't wear the bodybuilding trunks. But for you to look at him and think he's classic, but at least, bro, shoot him a DM or something. Ask him. You can't say, yeah, this guy's classic. It's like, bro,
do your research, man. Like,
come on, bro. If you think this guy can make like classic weight, bro, then damn, you really just don't get it. You just don't get it. like Andrew, he said that about Andrew because Andrew, there was a couple of shows where he wore the classic shorts just because that's what they wear, in Dubai sometimes. And he was saying, "Classic, Andrew's classic," and it's like, but at that point he was already 290. Like he wasn't classic, he was far from classic, But let's see. I want to see the prejudging of the prejudging pictures for if I refresh it for the Open, because the Open I think is underway now.
For which one, Legion?
For the Legion, I don't see it here because Classic. I think Classic just dropped the prejudging. Maybe Bodybuilding Without Borders.
Yeah, I saw Desktop Bodybuilding. He said they copyrighted him.
Oh,
so a lot of people are not covering it for some reason.
Wow, they're on it like that, huh? Well, Legion, it looks like there's a lot of money behind it, so yeah, nobody's covering it. That sucks. I want to see that. I don't even see the Classic here. What other pages we got? We got Buyers and Tries. Probably not. But that page, Who is the Best Bodybuilder?
Mm-hmm.
They've been posting some ignorant shit, bro. Lately, they've been posting some stupid shit.
Like, I've seen it. I know what you mean. The guy, the Sam and Chris Bumstead, right?
Yeah, well, they posted that. They posted one. Chris wasn't even hitting the pose, and they were comparing him to Ramon's back. Like Ramon is beating him when he's not in the pose. I'm like, that's the stupidest shit I've ever. That's like me standing still and somebody hitting the most muscular. Like, well, he's beating you. Like, no, he's not. I'm not flexing. It's just they've been posting some real like weird shit. I don't know why they're doing that.
There's something about. I think it's just this thing with bodybuilding where when someone wins too much, they go from being the poster boy that everyone loves to people just want to find a reason for them to lose, right? Or someone who can bring them close.
That's a fact.
Because we look at like Ronnie is like so near and dear to us, right? As bodybuilders. But when he was dominating for those 8 years,
nobody was talking.
No one was really, it was like it wasn't the same kind of media attention that he has now. It was sort of like, well, he could have been beaten. He wasn't this, he wasn't that. Phil Heath, the same thing.
100%.
Yeah, Chris Bumstead, he hasn't had a lot of that in his career because he's such a likable guy. But I'm starting to see, especially from the other side of the world, I'm definitely starting to see some of that conversation starting to happen. People are vying for Ramon, people are vying for Urs. So it's just a curse of being the champion,
Yeah. I mean, but yeah, when Phil was winning, like nobody was giving Phil credit. Everybody was just looking for every flaw and every hole. And it's funny because now he's the GOAT. But it's like before then, he was like, nobody likes Phil. He's arrogant. He's cocky. Nobody liked him. But this is a classic. I got Terrence. I mean, I think Logan has a tremendous physique, but if you're looking at his back poses, his glutes and hams aren't in like they usually are, and Terrence back just looks better.
Is Logan prepping himself again this time? Because I know he said he was doing a self prep after Milos. Do we know, or is he working with someone?
I didn't see him post any coach, so I think he's still coaching himself. I think he just feels more comfortable that way, but I think he needs that extra push because he was coming in more peeled and a little fuller with
Yeah,
me.
he looks very different from his like previous showings on
Yeah,
the
you don't see that. I thought he was one of the most conditioned guys before, and right now
Yeah.
he's not looking as shredded as you. I mean, I've seen him in the off season with shredded glutes. So I don't know. I think I think we got to give coaches more leeway, man. I think you got to be like, you can have a conversation and be like, hey, I think you push this a little too hard. Let's back off. I don't think you have to just leave a coach, like especially somebody like Milos. There's nobody more passionate and cares about his clients like Milos. I think you could just talk like, "Yeah, this is a little extreme for me." It's like a team effort. I don't think you have to be like, "I'm out of here." You know what I'm saying? I think you can just have a conversation and it can be better for both of you. But I know when you're dieting and stuff, you have diet brain. You're not always the most political person, or maybe you're not good at talking things out at that point. But I think you
He
should have.
looks flat right there in that video.
He looked flat. Like his muscles wasn't. I think he's in shape, but his muscles aren't pushing against his skin, so he's not getting that tight look.
Yeah, he looked his best when he was working with AJ since I think.
He did. He looked really
You
good
know,
as well. Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean,
He
honestly,
won a few shows with him.
he did. Yeah. He. I don't know why he left AJ to be. You see what I mean? The pattern, like to just you're doing well and you leave somebody maybe because one show you didn't peak as well as you thought you did. It
Same
happened.
as Hassan. Hassan was great with AJ.
Yeah. Or Justin. Justin was.
Justin too. Justin, the
Yeah.
same thing.
You know, I don't believe in the coach hopping thing, man. I mean, it's like what went wrong and figure out what went wrong together and be like, okay, this won't happen again. Let's do better as a team. You can communicate better with me. I communicate better with you. We'll get a better look. Just because you go to somebody else doesn't mean you're gonna look better. Like the idea that this person is gonna make you look better is just it's irrelevant. Like it's all different ways of doing the same thing. Like people have different methods, but peaking somebody is peaking somebody. Going to a different person doesn't mean a better result. Just because Matt brings in Sean Clarita like that doesn't mean you go to Matt, you're gonna be fucking 212 Olympia. It doesn't. That's not how it works. It's a fit. It's kind of like it's teamwork. You know what I'm saying? So it's up to you as well. It's up to the athlete as well, just as much as the coach to bring a good package.
Yeah, AJ brings his guys. Do you think, and I'm going to sound a little controversial here, but I'm just asking a general question. I don't know.
Uh-huh.
Do you think it may be a thing that AJ may be pushing his guys really extremely to get into that condition? Because it just seems that a lot of people that he preps, they're in the best condition of their lives, but they never actually stay with him as a coach. I don't know. I'm not giving a definitive statement here. I'm just asking a general question. If you think that may be what's going on, in regards to release AJ, because I think it's only Joel Thomas that's still with him. I guess.
Uh-huh.
Do we know?
I
I,
mean,
I have a bunch of friends that've been with him for a few years now. You know, and he coaches my trainer Douglas Fouché. Yeah, and it's his first prep with him. So he looks
but
pretty good, but I can't agree with you, man. Maybe he's pushing things too hard where people are saying, I can't handle this anymore. I have to go.
Yeah.
well, he when he was on Fuad's podcast and he kind of talked about some of his protocols. He talked about Justin and it seemed, I don't think everybody gives all their secrets, but it seemed toward the more I guess harsh as far as some of the things he does. And I can see it, but I mean, I think some people have to do some harsh stuff to get in shape. I know for me to get hard and lean, I got to do some extreme stuff, but I don't think everybody needs that. You know, I think Justin does probably need some extreme stuff to get in shape because Justin kind of have like a softer look usually. I don't think somebody like Logan needs anything extreme, you know. So sometimes you have to go person by person. So I think there's some truth to that. I don't think he has disregard for your health or anything like that, but I think he pushes maybe a little harder than some coaches. From what I saw, mostly like some of the water manipulation and anti-estrogens and things like that, which for me, I have no issue with that because I hold so much water that never affects me. But I've definitely seen some horror stories with diuretics and anti-estrogens and stuff like that. You know,
Yeah,
so
'cause, I mean, the guy gets his guys peeled. It's just I have a hard time understanding if you're in the best shape of your life, why would you leave someone, right? And it's not just one person, it's several people. So it kind of makes you question, you know. And I don't know. I'm sure he's a great coach. I've never spoken to him. I don't know his protocols. He gets his guys dialed in, you know, but I've always just wondered like why that tends to happen a lot, you know, with the guys. Because Hassan was in the best shape of his life with AJ, you
facts.
know.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, if we're being completely honest, anytime there's a huge influx of clients leaving coaches or leaving a coach, there is a reason. It's not like everybody's crazy, right? So, like when everybody went to work with George Farrell and everybody left him at the same time, everybody kind of said he didn't really pay a lot of attention. Like, you know, it wasn't like he was a bad coach, but they didn't feel like they got the attention they wanted. So that's valid. If that seems to be a general consensus, it's probably valid. Or we're like Chris Aceto. I think Chris is a great coach, but some people don't feel like he's as hands-on as they want him to be. You know, he said, I'm not a babysitter. And I respect that he's not a babysitter, but I think some people want more hands-on approach. And he's very expensive. So if you're gonna charge that much money, I think you might need to be a little more. I mean, he doesn't have to do anything, he can do whatever he wants. But I think people are expecting if I pay $5,000 that I should be maybe getting more hands-on approach. So it's, you know, so maybe you have to preface it before you work with somebody. Like, I'll tell people I'm not a babysitter, but my rates are really cheap. So I'm like, I mean, you ain't paying me much. So I mean, you can't expect me to hold your hand all the time. Like, I'm just not that kind of person. I feel like you should be able to hold your own weight. I gave you the plan, you should be able to execute it. But like I said, my price is fair enough that you're probably not going to feel any kind of way because he ain't charging me a bunch of money, you know. So every coach isn't for everybody, man. But yeah, if you have a lot of people leaving somebody, sometimes there's some kind of disconnect, you know. But yeah, his guy.
Do you remember Alexis? The Puerto Rican guy. Yeah,
Yeah,
he used to coach him too. Yeah.
He looked great too. Is he back with Justin? Because why do I see Justin here? Why do I see Justin here on top of his? I see him like really high on his feed, and I don't know. This is 3 days ago.
I think, yeah, he said like it was like when he worked with him or something like that.
Oh, okay.
So I checked all that.
Yeah, that's kind of that might mean you're low on clients if you're posting throwbacks. But
dang, okay, that's a good one.
Not gonna lie.
Oh shit!
You want to at least post a throwback of a client you're still working with, you know, because it might look like you're working with the guy.
That's very true.
Like sometimes I'll post somebody like one of my friends right from the gym. And sometimes I feel the need to put like not my client because I don't want to look like I'm working with the guy when I'm not, you know. So, but yeah, I think Terrence got this in the bag. I wanted to talk about this guy. You know, I've been seeing for a few years. I think
guy.
I think he made some improvement because I got to be honest. I won't say I wasn't impressed, but all I could see was his neck this whole time. And now I feel like, oh, whoa, he has crazy ass wheels. And
I don't think anyone knows his name, bro. I think everyone just calls him Neckzilla.
it's like Rubio.
Oh.
You're right. No, but for years we've been seeing him flown around, and I don't think we took him seriously because all we could see was just his neck, right? But now I think we're like, whoa, his physique is actually pretty dense. His legs are ridiculous. I think sometimes,
Honestly, I'm impressed with his arms the most
but
because if
yeah,
your arms look that big with
next
your
to his
neck
legs,
being that big,
you're right.
you
You're
know,
right.
so that means you must have fucking crazy ass arms, man.
I think in person, listen, Larry is a nice guy. He gives compliments. I've never heard Larry say this is the best blank ever. I've never heard him say he said this is the biggest legs he's ever seen in his life. Bro, Larry is trained with everybody, like Mr. Olympias, and you know what I'm saying? So he doesn't say that lightly. He's not just saying the guy doesn't even understand English, right? So he's not saying it to like put a smile on his face. He really means it. And honestly, looking at his legs in this video, I could see why he said that. Larry's worked out with Charles Thomas, Carlos Thomas. And I mean, this guy is bigger than Carlos as a guy, and so I would assume his legs are bigger than him because it's
You
just,
think so?
well, not proportionally, but mind you, Carlos is 5'5". This guy is like 6 foot, right? So it's
Is
gonna,
he?
yeah. I mean,
Yeah, he's
Larry's
tall.
6'1",
He's tall.
6'2", so I would assume he's at least close to my height, if not. So his legs are gonna appear bigger, right? If you got somebody by 5 inches, your legs are gonna be bigger. And I mean, as big as the person he is, bro, his legs, look at his legs, bro. I mean, that's pretty insane, you know. He actually have a similar physique to Carlos because they have the arms and the legs, man. It's just stupid. And the
I
weight,
don't know. I think he's a little bottom heavy. Like Carlos is bottom heavy, but Carlos is balanced. Like his
yeah,
his
yeah.
shoulder width to his leg ratio is also balanced. Meanwhile, when you look at this guy, he's kind of a little bit more on the straight side, right? He doesn't really have an X frame. Yeah, he doesn't really have an X frame compared to Carlos. Carlos has everything. Yeah, I think this guy will turn pro easily.
Yeah, for sure.
I just don't know like how he would stack up, if he's conditioned, because I see like the way I'm looking at his physique,
Uh-huh.
if he's conditioned, his upper body, especially the front, so the chest and the abs area, I feel like that would really come down in size, and then we would really start to see um the disparity between the upper and lower body of his physique, if you kind of get what I'm saying.
I think so. I think his. I mean, listen, his upper body is not going to match his legs at all. But I think his arms are good enough. But I actually think his shoulders, because his legs are so big, I think you see like right here, if his shoulders were like wider, I think it would create more balance. You know, I think the arms are holding their
These
own.
bigger shoulders. Just looking at this picture, it's the
Yeah,
shoulders. It's
for
the
sure.
shoulders.
And then listen, when your neck is that big, it's gonna throw off some shit. Like it's hard to look.
How
It's
did
hard
neck
to,
even get that big, bro?
Dude,
bro,
this guy is missing myostatin in his blood.
bro. Like if I was him, I would wear like a neck brace or something just to limit my neck movement because
Like,
it's
how does
too much.
someone's neck get that big? Like,
I think it's too much. But yeah, but I mean, yeah, his shoulders.
He technically doesn't need a pillow.
No,
If
he
you
doesn't.
think
He can just
about
lay
it.
like this. Yeah, his shoulders would have to come up a lot to match his legs, which is unfair because who can grow shoulders big enough? Well, I guess Big Ramy kind of got his shoulders width to a point where it almost matches legs, you know. But that's a tall task, you know. Also, when I see people never posting back pictures, it makes me nervous, you know. People might say, well, maybe they have a good. It's like, bro, nobody hides this show. Like you don't see Zayd wearing sweatpants to the gym every day. You know,
I don't have pants, bro. I only have shorts.
you see my point. You don't you don't hide your best body part. Like nobody hides their best body part, man. I'm wearing a
But
sleeveless right now.
in this guy's defense, though, he has his shoulders rotated backwards. So if he puts his arms forward, you can see more delts. You know.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's a video where he's doing flies over there. If you want to click that, I think that'll
He
show
looks
you
like the Nigerian Hassan Mustafa. He has the same build.
like a Victor Richards. Yeah,
Well, you're right. He does have a very similar strengths and weaknesses to Hassan. Yeah, you're right. When I see people like this, I honestly think, like they said, I think they have like a milestone, but that's not normal, bro. Like,
100%. Yeah,
just be,
100%.
and you watch them train. With all due respect, like you watch them train, they just train. They're not training like a James Hollingshead, or like they kind of just like, I watch Hassan train. He's kind of like, oh, you know, ooh. It's chilling, bro. It's chilling. Even damn, what's the one? He's actually a good friend of mine. The guy that trains at Gold Venice, why am I
Lockett.
blank? With the huge legs.
Huge legs. Oh,
He was at the Olympia a few times. Damn. He used to go to Coast with us as well.
oh, Toto.
No, no,
Shaban,
he's from Egypt.
Mohammed Shaban.
Mo Shaban. How you know
Yeah.
that? And he was training at the same gym as us. And you, but yes, Shaban. I watched Shaban train legs, and I'm like, yeah, I want to see how he gets these big ass legs. And he's kind of just, okay, 2 plates, okay. And I'm like, bro, that's like, that's not normal. Like, how do those legs come out of just kind of just? He's so laid back. Like, I don't see him. I'm not trying to discredit him, but I don't see him sweat or anything. He's kind of just like building muscle, like, and it's like,
I
holy
think I,
fuck.
I think it's a connection. Like people like that, they can connect with the muscle very like with very little weight,
Yeah,
right? Like you see, like even Rami, for example, like when you see him do some of he's squatting with like 2 plates, and you can look at his face, it looks like he's really struggling, you
yeah.
know. So I feel like people like that, they can just connect with that muscle very, very,
Yeah.
very well.
You ever felt like maybe we trained a little too hard in the beginning? Sometimes I feel that way. I'm
I
like,
mean, it's because you're younger, so you want to push yourself to the max and find out how strong can you get, right? But that's not optimally how the best way to train as a bodybuilder.
I don't know if I grew any faster. I think I'm growing faster now. And if I looked at myself in the future when I was younger, I would be like, yo, this guy's not training hard. Like the way I train now, like I'm connecting and I'm sweating but the way I used to train, like it was way harder than the way I used to train, but it was harder just for the sake of being harder. It was just, I was sniffing salts and putting knee wraps on and doing, but I wasn't growing as fast as I'm growing now, just using my brains more than I'm using my body, I guess. So it's like, it's another thing. Maybe we trained too hard. Maybe it
So
wasn't
I think
necessary.
you needed to go through that though. Like think about how many reps and how many sets you've done to get to this point, right? Like back then, you probably needed that kind of heavy weight to be able to connect
Yeah.
with the muscle. You know, you had to keep going up and getting that progression in order to actually have that proper connection with the muscle to be able to feel it and for it to grow versus now, you have some tenure under your belt, you have some experience under your belt, so you may not necessarily need to go to those higher volumes, of loads in order to actually get the same kind of effect that you would from
Yeah.
back then. Because just like you, right? Back in college, I used to squat 4 plates, and I would squat 4 plates no problem, but my legs would not be pumped whatsoever. I would
Exactly.
feel nothing, versus now I'm doing the same weight, but it's a very different feeling,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know. So I think sometimes you have to go through that in order to progress.
Yeah. There might be some truth there. I remember my training partner, Angel, right, Jay? Angel.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
One time, because when he started working out with me, he wasn't really following the sport like that. He just liked working out. And when he started following the sport, he was like, "Bro, I'm watching these bodybuilders train, these pro trainers. Like, I don't think they train like us. I'm like, I feel like we train harder than that. I'm like, yeah, but they bigger than us, so shit. We gotta figure out what the hell they doing. So
Oh,
like,
yeah.
it's funny.
Under eating, under eating. It's always under eating, probably.
Exactly. So
Yeah,
I was gonna say
yeah,
overtraining, but it goes hand in hand with eating.
yeah,
So I felt
yeah.
like we were training so hard. We were eating, but maybe I mean the way I eat now, I mean is not even close. So I felt like we were doing a bit too much as far as how heavy and the volume. Like you don't have to do 20 sets per body part, all the failure. I think we were training hard, training more than our diet allowed. I think we were overdoing it, to be
Let
honest.
me ask you, Bitey, if you could talk to your 20-year-old self now,
Uh-huh.
what would you tell him to do differently from the style of training he was doing then? So like, I don't want to say let's say like, for example, when you were 20, like a Sam Sulek now, but you're looking at yourself as you are now with your experience.
Yeah.
What would you tell yourself now or at 20 years old for them to get those results a lot quicker than it's taken, you to
Mhm.
get to this point?
I would say, as far as training wise, I would say first of all the form, man. I would say form and feel over everything. If you're doing something and you don't feel it, stop doing it. So if everybody says, well, heavy barbell rows, heavy one arm rows, heavy deadlift, build a big back, and you're doing it and you feel nothing, first change how you're doing it. Try to do it more effective as far as controlling it, using better form. If you still don't feel it, disregard it. There's no one exercise that anybody needs to build muscle. You have to feel it. So if you're squatting and all you feel is your glutes and you're trying to build your quads, don't squat. So I think I like the fact that I got my squats strong, but I think I overdid the weight because I would get to a weight where I didn't feel my legs. I would just feel pressure all over my body. So I would definitely still get as strong as possible, but definitely change the form. Second, with will be coaching. I would have hired a coach earlier, and I would have followed the plan closer instead of feeling like, I got this. I got to a point where I could coach myself, but I thought I knew more than I knew before I knew it. You know what I'm saying? You need that structure. You need that structure. And also, the last thing, I thought I was better than I was. I saw, did my first show, I got six. I didn't diet. I didn't do anything. I just cut out Ben and Jerry's. And I'm like, oh, that was kind of easy. Then I did my second show, Brooklyn, and I won. And I was like, oh, shit. I'm the best bodybuilder in Brooklyn, and I was dieting on Chinese food. I was like, oh, this is gonna be easy. I'll be a pro fucking next year. This is light. Then the Atlantic States, which was like a big show in New York at the time. You probably know Atlantic States because you're from
Yeah,
Jersey.
yeah.
So I was like, oh man, the Atlantic States. And I took second in heavyweight to what's his name? He used to date Shanique Grant. I can't remember his name. Salcido. You know that Salcido guy. What's his name? Chris Salcido, I want to say. He was like a pretty boy. He used to date Shanique Grant when she was like, but him, yeah, he won. I knew he was gonna win. He was better than me from the back, 100%. He was shredded. From the front, I had him, but he, I don't sound fucked up, but he won before he got there. You know, uh, but I'll go into details. He won that show already, but he was still better than me. I'm not saying I deserve to win. He was better than me. And I got second. I'm like, oh, I'm 23 and I got second in the biggest. Oh, this easy. And then I moved here, won the overall. So it was like things was happening. I'm like, we just going. People following me. I got people commenting on my shit or Flex Wheeler comments. Dexter followed me. I'm like, oh shit, and then I fucking started losing, bro. I don't know what the fuck happened. It's like then once I moved to supers, from heavies to supers, that's it. I felt like I couldn't win anymore. Like, what the fuck? I'm losing it. Get my ass beat. That's how I became friends with Paul. I remember I competed against Paul and he beat me. And I was like, how he beat me, bro? How old are you? He's like, oh, 40, 41. I'm like, damn. I got old men beating me now.
Muscle maturity, bro.
Yeah. What
No,
about
but
what about you, Zaid?
What I would tell myself if I was 20, oh
Yeah.
man, my 20s were strictly dedicated to be a bodybuilder, man. Seriously, I had to sacrifice like literally all my 20s and be as disciplined as I can to be a pro in my 30s. And the best thing I would tell myself is you needed to eat more. That's one thing. And two, I would have liked to switch to low volume training a little bit because as I was younger, I was always into high volume. So, for instance, like seriously, when I started squatting heavy, dude, I kid you not, in 2019. Before 2019, I was never squatting past 2 plates. I would go 2 plates and I would go to failure. I would never think about, oh, let's move this to 4 plates and do 10 reps. After 2019, I started doing heavy weights, less reps, you know? So I would definitely tell myself, train heavier and drop the fucking reps a little bit and eat more. And but I'm doing that in my 30s, so I guess it panned out. But that's it. Not too much. I don't regret not having a coach for a long, long time because it made me a better coach to others. Because I do this for a living as well. So yes, it wasn't the best thing to do to self-coach yourself for the beginning of your career, but it made me into a great coach. I had to learn everything, the science behind everything and how everything works. So that made me a better trainer. And that's how I make my living. So yeah, I didn't place well from the beginning, but it also helped me later on to become a good trainer, you know?
Bro, Zaid was the opposite of me as far as humility, bro. He was the most humble, but he said he lost a lot in the beginning. I think that's important, bro. It builds that humility. I was never cocky outwardly. I never was like I'm the best, but I felt that way in my heart. I just never conduct myself that way. But Zaid was so humble. Almost, I thought he was too humble. I'm like, bro, Zaid, like you could turn pro. I'm like, you're gonna win, and he's like, yo, don't worry, we're gonna see how we're gonna do. And he was always so humble. But I'm like, damn. I mean, he'd be like, I'm so great. Before the show, I'm so grateful to be here. He's not like I'm coming to crush people. He's just grateful to be. He's like, I'm in this country. I'm doing what I love, and I always respected that. And it made me want to be better and more humble. And when I started getting my ass beat, that humbled me already. So you don't wait till you get your ass beat to get humble. Like be humble to begin with.
And to be honest, that's why I say the best coaches are the guys who were bodybuilders, but they weren't at the top end, right? Because they had to do everything in order for them to make progress. Because I'm in the same boat as you, Bidey. And that was why nationals was so hard for me, because that was the first show that I had literally got my ass beat. I had taken overalls my whole life from OCB all the way to the MPC. I had always won overalls. It wasn't a big deal to me, like a lot of people, like when they win their first overall as an amateur in like a local show, it's a big deal for them, right? It's sort of like, oh, I won the overall. But for me, that was my norm.
You didn't even flinch, yeah. I know.
It was a norm.
Kind of like, thank you.
Yeah. So going into nationals, I said at least top 5. And the fact when I didn't get that top 5, it killed my self-confidence. Killed myself. So I definitely understand where you guys are coming from, where it's like that humility. When you have that, you're like, okay, you know what? I'm not as good as I thought I was, and I need to start correcting some of these mistakes that I'm making. Like for me, if to answer my own question, I would say the 2 things that I would do is, one, I would lower my training volume, or I would take more rest days. I was always the guy, all of my 20s, 6 to 7 days a week. In fact, I trained 7 days a week. I only took a day off when I really was beat up.
Yeah.
That was how I trained throughout my 20s. And then I would hear, people would say, okay, 4 to 5 days a week. But I'm like, that doesn't work for me. Like I'm already in somewhat decent shape. Like I don't need to do that. But that, and I would say getting a coach for sure. I've said this time and time again. I think that having a coach reduces your amounts of errors that you make. Getting to wherever you need to get to, or wherever your potential or your ceiling is. If it's going to take you 10 years doing it yourself, a coach could at least reduce that number, right? For you to get to where you need to go to. So I would say for me, those are the 2 things. And then my feeding, nutrition wise, bring the protein down a little bit, because there was a point in time in my life that I was eating at least 12 ounces of protein per meal, and I was like 190 pounds. There's no
Chad
reason.
Nichols style.
Like,
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
there
he
too.
does that all the time.
You know?
It's funny. I feel like some of the things you said, I could relate to that. I didn't mention the training volume, but my training volume has been going down pretty much like every year for the past, I don't know, 5, 6 years, and I've only got more results from that. And the protein too. Yeah, the protein. I was obsessed with it. I didn't want to leave anything on the table. I'm like, yeah, but if I'm eating eight ounces, I could be losing potential to put on muscle. I got to go 10 ounces, 12 ounces. And I got up to at one point I was getting about 100 grams of protein per meal. So I would have a meal and a shake. Let's say I would have like every meal I would have like 10 ounces plus like maybe 30 to 50 grams of whey on top of it. I'm like, I got to get 100 grams of protein per meal. So I was getting like 600 grams of protein, and all that really grew was my midsection. I just got a bigger stomach.
Dang. Yeah, it's funny you guys mentioned the overall wins because I'm the opposite of you two. I never had an overall win. It's always a class win. And
Yeah.
even turning pro, I won my class, but not the overall. So
Yeah.
hearing that from overall winners, that's exciting, man, because I was always the guy with the least expectations,
Yeah.
but the most amount of work. That's why each time I placed or not, I was happy with the progress. And, so
Yeah,
to
'cause
others, if you didn't win the overall, you didn't do much. And you know how they tell you, you shouldn't step on a national stage if you don't have few overalls under your belt,
You're
which
right.
this is also bullshit, because
Yeah.
it takes one guy to beat you and he takes an overall from you, but you beat the other people,
Exactly.
so it means a lot when that happens and then you turn professional. It would be like magnified win
Yeah, and
because you'd be happier.
yeah, and Zay, just like you said, because now, right, like you're both pros, you've known what it's like, to start from the bottom and just start climbing the ladder, essentially, right? So for myself, like now, that's where I have a mental struggle where it's like, okay, that nationals was kind of like my first actual like bodybuilding loss, but now we're at the bottom of the ladder as pros, right? And we're trying to climb this hill that just seems to be so large to get to the Olympia, right? So that's where my mental struggle is like, oh, you know, I got it. We're right at the bottom now. Like this is something it's foreign to me at this point. We got to climb again, and that's why like I'm not the segue, but I can understand. Nathan, I don't agree with what he did. With the whole Regan situation, but if you look at Nathan's trajectory, his career since he started, when he was an amateur, he competed in his first show because out of like I think his story, like he had like a bet or something. He won overall. He became the best in England. Then he turned pro, went to, Oxygen, came to New York. That was like his first loss. And after that, he kept winning.
Yeah.
So it's like sometimes like you have to look at people's like trajectory of like their competitive history to see why they act certain ways. Because people are like, oh, Nathan, but the guy's lost like maybe like 3 or 4 times in his entire bodybuilding history. It's foreign to him.
He doesn't know how to lose.
Yeah, he doesn't know how to lose.
Yeah.
So yeah, so Zayd, like that's something that like I know that I'm mentally, it's something that I have to come to terms with that now when I go into a show as a pro, I can't think of the mindset that like, oh, I'm coming to win this show, right? It's like, oh, you just got to do your best and see what happens. You know what I mean? Like versus in the NPC, it's like, okay, I have a chance to actually win this goddamn show, and
Yeah.
so it's a bit of a mind fuck for me. But that's part of the process of growing. It's part of the process of growing in the sport.
Man.
For what it's worth, you have what it takes to win your pro debut. I believe that. I truly fucking believe that. I'm not saying that to make you feel any type of way, but I see it. It's all written all over your physique, dude. You just need to be a bigger version of yourself. You will win. I mean, honestly, I'm very impressed with anyone who wins their pro debut. especially like Justin. I didn't expect him to win his pro debut at all, Justin Shire. You know, but fuck, dude, he came out swinging and he did it. That must have felt like crazy, you know.
Yeah,
So
and also with that, like I feel like there has to be some strategy, right? Because I watched the previous podcast, Body, that you had with Martin, and when I think of like Martin's pro debut, if Martin went to any other show,
he would have went to the Olympia.
he would have won.
Yeah.
He would have won any other show, but he went into the biggest ones because that's his mindset, right? He wants to roll it out with the top dogs. So that's the reason why he went for the Arnold and the Texas Pro. But when you look at his physique as his first pro year, if he went to a smaller show, he would have won his pro debut. So it's like there's also strategy involved, when it comes to that. Carlos is another example, right? Carlos went to Texas. If Carlos had done any of the shows earlier in the year, he would have probably won his pro debut as well. So, I mean, the way I think about it, Zayd, it's like, and this is where I'm still trying to feel it out for myself. Do I want the win or do I want the competition, if that makes sense?
Yeah.
And I still don't know. I still don't know how to pick when we get to that point, once we actually go past the off season and think about doing a prep. It's just some of the things that are on my mind now that we left the NCAA, so
yeah.
Back when I saw Texas, right, and that was Martin's second year. Well, first I thought his first year competing, he had got fourth at the Legion, right? Fourth at the Legion, I think, behind some really good guys. I can't remember the line. That wasn't Nadal. I don't think that was the year Sean won, right? I don't think so, but it might have been.
It was. I think it was the year before.
Okay.
Yeah, because when Sean was first, Regan was second, Sergio was third,
and Tony
fourth was yeah.
Oh, you're right. So I think it was the year before that, and I thought he looked amazing, and it was some really good guys that beat him. And I saw how disappointed he was, and I was like, that's strange. That was his pro debut. I mean, you're like 23. Like, what are we talking about here? Then I saw it again at Texas. I was like, wow, this guy made some crazy improvements. And he got second. He beat Kuklo in Kuklo's hometown. Kuklo was just like fifth at the Olympia not that long ago. Kuklo was huge. And he was disappointed. I was like, okay, why is this guy always – if he's always disappointed, I didn't know Martin at the time. Bro, Martin, when I say he hates losing, bro, if you ever got into a fight with Martin, if you didn't kill him, he'll come back and kill you. Like, you have to kill him. He's not going to stop. Like, this guy, when he focuses on something, he's not going to stop. So he's just a different kind of person. He won't – honestly, if he won Texas, he would have probably still been disappointed. He probably my quads could have been harder. He said that too. He was like, "Yo, my quads could have been dry." I was like, "Bro, Martin, you was peak perfectly." I think I overspilled, but he's so hard on himself. Like he maybe too hard, and he admits it, maybe too hard. But man, that there's people that have a winning mindset. I think he had like a perfection mindset. Like he won't stop, and I think it's gonna take him further. But mentally, it might not be the healthiest. And he admits it. It might not be the healthiest mindset, maybe. But, man, that guy has a whole different drive, man. If people had that kind of drive, you'll be surprised where you can go with that kind of drive.
I mean, you train with Branch Warren, so what do you expect? You have to be this nuts. So he won't take you on anyway if you're not this crazy.
Yeah,
exactly.
A guy like Martin, right? Like, if he has a pro win and he could go into any show, like a smaller show, and get a pro win, I feel like mentally that would do something for him, in terms of like, because I feel like there is that reaffirmation.
I think so.
From winning, and that gives you that drive to take it to that next level, right? Because, I mean, think about it. He went from his pro debut and started tossing around with Andrew Jack, like, right away, going into the Arnold Classic Europe. Like, these are really big shows, and it's almost like people forgot that, like, yo, this is this guy's second year in the pro ranks, like people just automatically forgot because, it was during the Nick Walker time where Nick Walker came out of the amateur ranks and went straight to the Olympia, which is uncommon. But for a guy like Martin, I think doing like a pro show, if he wins a pro show, that would do wonders for him, like mindset wise. And it's like, okay, you know what? I'm already making it to the Olympia, and then I can go into the Arnold UK or wherever I want to go. And if I don't win, it's not as bad. You know, the stakes are not as high at that point for him. But yeah, it's just it's interesting because like, and I'll shut up after this, but you know, Ian said it too, right? Like Ian is one of those guys that was very strategic about the shows that he picked early in his career when he first started. And that did a lot for his mindset, you know, in terms of how he felt as a pro, like if he was good enough to actually take it to that next level. Because you think about it, Ian didn't even turn pro in Canada. You know, he turned pro in Mexico or a Central American country. I forget which one it was.
Yeah.
And then from there, he just kept climbing, you know, until he actually made it to the Olympia. Yeah. So sometimes you kind of need a couple of wins under your belt to kind of give you that confidence or that mental fortitude to say, okay, you know what, I'm ready for that next step.
Facts. Listen, man, if I don't win the USA's next year, I'm going to Mexico.
You should.
No, let's stop. But no, what I was going to say is, I think Martin is doing the Arnold next year. Did he say that? Is that what he said?
He said he's doing the Arnold. Yeah.
Okay.
By the way, he won the Amateur Olympia in Mexico.
Well,
yeah, that's a respectable show. Yeah,
that's on the table. I might go to the damn you know, Ghana Classic or something.
Oh, Victor Richards.
They literally made a show just for him. Oh, we're going to the Ghana Classic just so.
And you'll probably be the only super heavyweight over there, so you win by default.
Yeah, shit. I might actually lose. Nowadays, shit, they might beat me off of condition.
No, hell no, dude.
No, but
I think you should go with USA's. It's awesome to let the judges know you and to show them your face every year. You know, they will move you up to that first top 3, and then eventually you get first. So the first year you did USA's, you were outside the top call out. The second year you were in the first call out. That's really good. So the third time you'll be in the first or second. You gotta keep doing the same fucking show. That's the trick for someone who's not a Phil Heath. You have to keep the same show over and over again until the judges are like, get this fucking guy a pro card and get the fuck out of here. You know, you have to keep showing up, you know, because let's be realistic. You got people who are genetically blessed, 3 shows they're pro. And you got the people who do 17 shows to get a pro card. Yeah. And it's not even an overall win. You know, so yeah, you have to go that route sometimes. Just do the same show over and over again until you're first in your class in that show.
Yeah, that's fact. No, okay, so yeah, so about Martin, I really like Martin, man. I think he's a really dope guy, man. I want to see him win, but more so, I want him to be pleased with himself more. Like, yo, I'm a dope fucking bodybuilder. I'm doing great, right? I don't want him to run into like the Cody Montgomery thing, right? Where Cody had that mindset. He wanted to win everything, and he jumped into the Arnold. It's a lot different because he jumped into the Arnold at 21. That's different. And when he didn't win the Arnold, it kind of fucked him up. And then he did a couple shows and then retired. You know, and it's like, yeah, but if you win the team nationals every year, the Arnold, like the team nationals and Arnold. It's just, you know, because he went team nationals, then USA overall. Nobody thought he was going to win the USA overall. Like, holy fuck, he won okay, he's the real deal. But it's still an amateur show versus the Arnold. You got Kai and Branch, and it just didn't line up. But he felt like, well, you know, I'm going in to win. It's a good mindset, but boy, you're not winning the Arnold Classic at 21. Like, it's not a thing, bro. You know, so Martin is different. Martin is older, and he's has a way better physique at this point. But I don't want him to go into Arnold and feel like if I don't win the Arnold, I'm not good enough. Because he's more than good enough. He can literally win any show in the calendar year, literally, and go to Olympia. How many people can say that? Like, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people have the trouble winning the smaller shows. He can win damn near any show. So I don't want him to feel like, oh, I didn't win Arnold, so I'm gonna shut it down for another 2 years. You know, I want to be like, okay, I didn't win Arnold, but I look amazing, and I'm gonna do the next show, and I'm gonna qualify, and I'm gonna go to the O. You know, not so much like skip the O and take a bunch of years off. You know, and next thing you're gonna blink and you're gonna be, 37. You know, so I want to kind of enjoy it and still compete. You can make improvements and compete. But I think Martin can improve and make, and progress. Like Samson, not to compare to Samson, but I think he can compete, make improvements, and just show better looks without having to take so much time off. Because I don't think he needed to improve as much as he thought he did from Texas. I don't even think he needed to take a full year off. I think he kind of competed this year.
He's there.
He was right there. Yeah.
One that he could, Tonio was
same year.
Tonio was
great.
great.
That same year. Yeah.
Like he could have, I look at the New York Pro, like the Tampa, all the shows that were earlier this year.
Could have won all that.
Condition that he came, he could have won on most of all of those shows.
Honestly,
yeah.
I think any of those shows he would have won. I think he would have won New York, Cal, Chicago, all those shows. No disrespect to anybody who won, but I think Mark would have won all those shows, So I get the standard, and he knows he would have won those shows. He wants more, and I understand that, but I think he has to just get up there, go to the O, show them what he got. I think the Arnold is a good idea as long as it doesn't affect him negatively.
Yeah.
Mentally, it doesn't throw him off. If he goes there and wherever he places, which I think he can easily place top 5, but don't let that placing affect his mental state. Just be like, okay, this is the placing I got. I'm gonna show them next show. Go win the show. Go to Olympia. Make a statement at the Olympia, and then go from there.
Yeah.
By the way, dude, Cody Montgomery did a 212 show after the Arnold. He was second place to Zane Watson in Toronto Pro. So he did great for a comeback after that show. He was second place, but and he did another show which he was also second place, but then he stopped.
Honestly, I thought he beat Zane. Zane is peeled. Yeah, Zane is peeled, but it's not only condition we're going by. He wasn't that far off condition. Zane was definitely more peeled, but he was conditioned enough. But he was round, he was full. I thought he should have won, and I think that was just because he's not good at losing. So.
It's this is what it is. When you are a dad and you have 2 children, you're gonna what's the word? You're gonna think twice about taking Tren and Mastron and heavy drugs
for second
place. And caring about this. You're gonna think about your children. As long as you're single, when you have no children, you're gonna blast that shit until you fucking drop. Let's be honest. Once you have more responsibilities for your family, this is when you start weighing out stuff and taking a step back. It's a big reason why I don't want to have children, to be honest. It's because of that reason, because I could never put myself in front of that. Yeah. So I don't want this from the get-go. Let me live my life freely and be a good pro without any limitations. Yeah. Because I know there's daddy motivation, whatever, but not to me. For me, I'll be a lot motivated if I'm childless, because I'm not worried about anyone, I'm worried about my career and my girlfriend. That's it.
The risk has to be worth, what you're saying essentially, Zaid, for someone like Cody is if he's going to take that risk, then the reward has to be worth it for that risk. And second place, especially in a 212 show, second place, not even open, it might not be so worth it, at that level.
I think so. But also because he had the kids, I felt like he wasn't necessarily pushing anything. All right, because he was doing those. You remember he was doing those transformations on Blackstone, like he would show some off season and he would be like skinny fat at 212, then he'd be 212 shredded. But that's not really bodybuilding. That's just maintaining, right? That's kind of just like, so if he was, I don't think he was really able to give it his all. He should be getting up to 250 and then before cutting down to 212 at his height, So I feel like he was just bodybuilding on the side, like a couple months a year. And everybody can't do that. Everybody can't do the Kevin Levrone. So I think even till today, he's only like our age. I think he's like 30. He's still
Yeah, yeah.
so he can come back today if he wanted to, but I just don't think the motivation is there. I think he wants to be a good dad, which he probably doesn't believe he can be a good dad and a great bodybuilder. So, to each his. I mean, it's commendable. I mean, you can't really talk down on that.
But we all had our moments, though, on the dark side, whenever you do certain something and then it affects your health a little bit, and then you start thinking, fuck, man, is this worth it? Is this what I'm supposed to do? Because, man, I know I do have moments of doubt, especially at 4 weeks out when you're taking everything under the fucking sun. I'm not really shy about to share what I took, but sometimes you have to talk about those things because it is scary, dude. Like, because this could affect your kidneys, this could affect your heart, this could
What you
affect
took,
your
Dave?
blood pressure. Oh,
What you took?
no, I'm just saying. He retired because he doesn't want to take more drugs.
I just
You
messing.
get what I'm saying?
Nah,
Yeah, and that's okay. I understand. We all have those moments of doubt. Like,
yeah,
am I supposed to be taking all this shit to do one goal? Because
yeah,
you could pay the price for this later,
bro.
And he doesn't want to do that. That's why he stopped competing.
But I got to be honest. Sometimes at night, before like my last meal, like when I smoke, right, I'll be sitting there with my meal, and I'll be, when you get high, you start thinking about shit. I'm like, yo, why am I doing this shit? This is some crazy shit. I start thinking too deep. I'm like, bro, I'm heavy as fuck. I'm snoring. I'm like, what the fuck? Is this worth it? Sometimes, obviously, when I wake up in the morning, I'm like, let's do it. But every once in a while, I'm like, damn, this is a hard life. I mean, it's like I love it, but it's a lot. It's a lot that comes with it. It's a lot that comes with it as well. So
Exactly. That's what I meant. Yeah.
but then I think, what else would I be doing? And I can't think of anything that's gonna satisfy me the same. At least at this point in my life, I can't think of anything else that satisfied me the same. It just I don't know. There's been times in my life where I made a lot more money than I'm making now, and I can't say I was happier. Like, I wasn't like fulfilled. Like, whoa, like I need like this kind of like goal, and these goals outside of my work and relationships and family. I need this goal for myself. It just helps me. Like, I don't know. It's just part of. I
and
need
that's
something.
why that's why bodybuilding, when you get to at least a national level of bodybuilding, a lot of times you're doing it because you love it.
That's it.
Right. It's like it's not because of Instagram, it's not because of social media. Once you get to that national level, the stakes are a lot higher. And the people that get there and succeed, make those first call outs or keep coming back, they do it because they love it.
Yeah.
And unless you've been in those shoes, you can never understand. And that's why, as bodybuilders, people think, okay, we're loners or whatnot. But when you meet another fellow bodybuilder, you instantly connect with that person, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's because we all understand what we go through on a day-to-day basis. We know what it takes to live this kind of lifestyle. And like Body, I've never even met you in person. Zayd, I've never met you guys in person, but we just clicked, and that's how it is for most bodybuilders, because we all have that in common, where you understand what it takes to be in this lifestyle, to live this lifestyle. And sometimes, like, unless you're doing it, even if you watch it on YouTube every single day on muscle and strength or whatnot, unless you're actually living that life, you can't understand. You just can't understand.
Okay, yeah. It's not something
Exactly.
you can explain. It's not something.
Yeah.
Once you get it, you get it. And sometimes I see people who don't get it, and you can't make them get it. I had a client that he actually had potential from a structure standpoint, but his mindset was so fucked, man, that I honestly didn't want to work with him. We ended up parting ways just because we kept bumping heads, because I think he thought I didn't like him or something, but it wasn't that I didn't like him. I just didn't like his mindset, because I knew he would never reach his goals. He was worried about he'd be like, oh, this guy at the gym said I was big. oh, he'd be like, yo, coach, how come you don't like all my pictures? I'm like, but what are we talking about here? Like, what is this why you bodybuild? It was just the weirdest thing. Oh, I saw Ian, he said I was big, and I'm like, what the fuck? I might have just blew his spot by saying that, but it's all good.
I
But
think I know the guy, by the way.
you might know him, but
Yeah, yeah.
he's worried about the wrong thing. I think he was doing it for some kind of I don't know, some kind of attention or to feel validated by the world. That'll never get you to win. You'll never win from seeking validation. You just won't. It has to be deeper than that. You can't push your body to this level with something that short-sighted. This you really gotta want this shit, man.
Yeah. And even without the physical toll it takes, bodybuilding is a lonely life. People don't understand that. Like it's a lonely life.
Yeah.
Like, eating your 6 meals a day, training, if you're in prep, you're going to be by yourself most of the time. It's just maybe probably you and your girlfriend, or maybe if you have a family. It's a very lonely life.
Yeah.
And if you're the kind of person that you need to go out, you need to be with people, you need to have someone to talk to in your corner, it's not for you, man. It's not for you. And that's a part that I feel like people don't really talk about is the other aspects of what it means to be a bodybuilder. Like, most bodybuilders are loners, and it's just by the nature of the sport how it makes you, right? It's probably like 1 or 2 people you talk to every single day, because you're not like out there. It's not like you're in the club every single day, or you're going out to these social gathering events. No, you're either in the gym, or you're in your kitchen, or you're on the cardio machine.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
You know something? Oh no, go ahead, Ray.
I was discussing this with my girlfriend the other day. I was telling her, when we get married, our fucking wedding is gonna look like a goddamn expo, because all our friends are from our industry. We don't have friends outside of the fucking gym and stuff like that.
That's a good
It's gonna
point.
be a pose down. Yeah. And
That's exactly what it's gonna be.
it's true. Yeah.
Everybody's
People
gonna
don't get how lonely it gets. They
No.
really don't get it. Yeah.
And man, it takes somebody special to date a bodybuilder, man. I wouldn't wish this upon my daughter or any females in my life to date a bodybuilder, because you could be the nicest guy in the world, but what it takes from you is gonna be hard on the other person, no matter what. Like, you can't prepare somebody for that. It takes a very special person to be with a bodybuilder, man. And it's not even up to you. It's really up to them, because they have a lot of shit to complain about if they wanted to, so you gotta definitely give them. I try to, like, right after my show, I try to, like, spoil my girl, but that's what I have in my head, because I'm like, even if she's not saying it, I know it's tough. She just doesn't want to fuck me up in my prep, so she's purposely not saying anything, But I could tell, and I try to be more. I try to catch myself and be like, "Oh, was that mean?" Or, "Oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't talking back. I was a little out of it for whatever reason. I was just a little foggy." So it takes a special person. But I kind of wish, for whatever reason, maybe one of my first coaches or somebody told me how difficult it was. I don't think I would have understood it though until you went through it. But I didn't realize getting that lean, what comes with it, like how you feel, mentally, and how tired you are. And some days you don't want to go to the gym. Like, I couldn't imagine who wouldn't want to work out, who wouldn't want to squat all this weight. Yeah, you get to a point in prep where you almost don't want to work out. You can barely work out. You can barely do your cardio, and it gets pretty hard. Like, you can't think. I don't even train clients because I don't want to devalue my training like that, because I'll just be sitting down like, do one more set like that. Nobody wants to train like that.
You can't watch TV. You can't even watch TV. You don't even have.
I literally can't. Like, there'll be a show on, like my favorite show. My girl be like, "What's your favorite show?" I'm like, "Okay, I can't really focus. It's not absorbing. I can't. I gotta watch something light, like some kind of, maybe a documentary, or like something I don't got to pay attention to. I just watch YouTube. I don't have to focus. So Nobody ever prepared me for that, but I don't think anybody could, to the point I was like, is it just me? Am I the only one suffering like this? I had to ask people, hey, Justin, like my coach, Justin, how did you feel in prep? Did you like, oh, I felt like shit. I'm like, oh, okay. So you're supposed to feel this shit. I'm not bugging. Like, okay, cool. And I'm talking to more people. I'm like, so all you guys felt like this, but you couldn't tell because nobody really talks about it. They kind of like
and honestly, buddy, that's one. That's why I like you do this podcast. And for me, I that's why I try to tell people that are outside this life that want to do bodybuilding, because on Instagram it's so glamorous, right? You see the physique, you're like, oh, I want to look like that, but you don't actually know how that person feels. That time where that picture was taken,
exactly.
At that moment, like even when I see some of my pictures when I'm like super shredded, right? Like on Instagram or whatnot, I remember how I felt during that time. And now, I may have a little bit of body weight on me, but I feel 10 times better. And I would choose how I am now versus how I looked there, just because of how I felt. Right. And people don't realize that it takes a toll on you, not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, everything. I try to tell like younger people that, it seem like, oh, this is so cool, like you look shredded or what. And I'm like, listen, if you're gonna do this, make sure you do it for yourself. Don't do it for anyone. If you're doing this for someone or you're doing it for likes or whatnot, you will be miserable. You will be miserable. So,
but
very true.
My YouTube, there was like an ongoing joke. I never finished my prep series videos. I always stop at like 4 weeks out. Like, why don't you finish it? And I have to make like a last video to talk about it because I could. Bro, you think you want a camera in your face 2 weeks out? Bro, I couldn't. My girl be like, you want me to film you? I'm like, no, I don't want you. I don't want, and I don't. Or my training partner, you want me to get this? I'm like, no, man, I don't want to talk. I don't. But it's so hard, bro. And this was the first time I ever did it. And bro, the way I look before the camera and on camera is two different people. The way I'm talking to the camera, that's not how I'm talking. I'm not talking to anybody. But you got to put it on, bro. You got to put it on. So I was like, you know what? I got to finish this, bro. This is the USA. I got to finish this, bro. I'm not gonna go for the 5th year. This not. So I forced myself to do it, and I didn't enjoy it. So I'm like, the only way I'm doing it, I got to hire somebody like Chris. Just be a flyer on the wall. I'm not gonna talk to you. I just can't do it. I can't film myself a week out from a show. It's that bad, bro. It's not what people think. Even what's his name?
Milos would tell you, get used to it and do it anyway.
Yeah, that's he's right. Eric Janicki, right? He does so much. Eric Janicki. He does so much social media. I saw him at the gym training legs with no cameras on. This guy was out of it. I'm like, oh, this is what it looks like when the camera's off. He was like this. I'm like, I knew because he was in shape. I was like, I knew he was pushing it there, but we don't see that on camera. But sometimes I'm like, I wish people would show that. I want to see Eric Janet because he's dancing and having a good time. I want to see him like this, fucking, because people don't know that's what it takes, man. That's why a lot of people, I have clients, 16, 18. Yeah, I want to, compete. I want to turn pro. But they died in a couple of weeks and they're dragging ass. I'm like, bro, you're 15% body fat and you're dragging ass. How are you going to do when you're 5% body fat? So you have to really understand, do you really want it? Or do you just think it's cool to be like C-Bum? Do you just want to be C-Bum? Or C-Bum goes to a lot of shit that you don't see, so it's like.
He doesn't post much anyway.
No, he actually doesn't post that much.
But, and when he posts, he's feeling it because when you read those captions, you could tell that he's questioning if should I continue doing this or maybe I should just stop now.
Exactly. That one video he was talking about because everybody at the gym he was training, I think with Hani and everybody at the gym kept coming up to him and he seemed kind of like just tired and he's like, yeah, please just wait after my workout. And I'm like, Greg said it's like, bro, you're C-Bum. Of course I'm like, I don't even think Greg understands how he's feeling right now, bro. He don't want to be. He's C-Bum. He has 100 people line up to take a picture, but he wants to go home and eat. There's nothing wrong with that. I wouldn't be pissed at you like, I'm not taking no fucking pictures. I'm sorry and bounce. Bro, he's a human being, bro. He's a human being. So him just saying just wait until after it was like a big deal. Like, well, no, you have to take it now. Like, no, you don't. When Arnold walks into the gym, he don't have to. He don't have to do shit. Steven shouldn't have to do shit either, bro. He's tired as fuck. So, bro, this shit is harder than you think, bro. So if you want to sign up for this, you better love it. Wanting to be famous is not gonna get you through that fucking that. So
if anyone is watching this podcast when it airs,
mm-hmm.
and you want to know what it's really like, this is my favorite bodybuilding documentary. It's actually on YouTube. You should check out Kai Green Overkill.
I love that shit. Yeah, I love that one.
That is my favorite documentary. It's when he goes to Vegas. I think it's his second Olympia, and he goes to live with Oscar Arden in Vegas, in some motel somewhere in Vegas for 3 weeks before the Olympia, and you really get to see
the real Kai Green.
The real Kai Green, what a bodybuilder is like in contest prep, not the whole philosophical.
The hey guy, yeah,
that's the real.
I've seen it at least 6 times. Yeah,
listen,
it's incredible.
It's funny because there's like 2 Kai Greens. It's funny. Kai Green is a nice guy, but bro, he's from Brooklyn. Kai Green is kind of ghetto, bro. Like if you hear him talk with his friends, like mind you, I was like neighbors with him for a while. So when he talks to me, he talks like how he really talks. And he doesn't talk like the Kai Green you hear on camera, bro. He talks like somebody from Brooklyn. That's how he talks.
Brooklyn, yeah.
but it's funny because I think he feels the need to be like that on camera. I honestly think people would prefer if he was just Kai Green from Brooklyn, But he got into the game at a different time. Where people were hard on him from coming from the past he came from. Whereas nowadays we embrace that shit. Now people nowadays they want you to be a rough around it. Since like Rich Piana and all that came out, people like that edge. You don't have to be like Seth Feroce. They used to make him shave his beard and he used to be like, "Hi guys." Now Seth, he can do whatever the fuck he wants, Because I think people respect real more now than putting it on. Like, we don't want to see Seth Feroce with a baby face smiling like this. Like, we want to see Seth fucking shooting guns and, you know what I'm saying, cursing and shit.
That's why people like Sam Sulek are doing so well, right? Because everything has become so filtered and so professional. And this kid who is just doing his thing, right? It's almost like that's what YouTube used to be like when it first came out. You just stick a camera and just do whatever you want.
Right.
And that's why people like the kid, Yeah. I think we're going, it's like full circle. The whole filtered and everyone has professional stuff going on. People are craving that authenticity, and just that regular homemade amateur looking video, that just basically shows who you really are as a person.
Bro, that's my idea for next prep. I want to go just full old school raw video. I'm gonna have somebody follow me. I'm not gonna be forcing a smile. I'm not gonna be trying to sound, smart or do. I'm just gonna. If I don't want to talk, I'm not gonna fucking talk. You're gonna feel. You're gonna see what I do. I might not say one word for a whole day, but I'm just gonna show what it's really like. I feel like sometimes I'll be saying the motivational shit, like, yeah, guys, you got. Fuck it, bro. So sometimes I don't feel that way. Sometimes I'm not motivated. So I think I'm just gonna have the camera on and you're just gonna see what it's really like, because I think a lot of people don't know what it's really like because they get to see a filtered version. I want everybody to understand, bro. I love it, but it gets really hard, man. It gets so hard to the point that there's been shows I've done where I'm like, I don't know if I can do this again. And then of course I'm like, nah, of course I can do it again afterwards. But
the question is, what the fuck else would you do?
That's what it comes back to, And my girl, she acts. So if she does the audition, she doesn't get it. She's like so defeated. I'm like, so stop going to audition. She's like, what? Stop acting. She's like, what do you mean? I'm like, that's my point. if you're gonna act like, oh, this is the end of the world, then stop doing it. Find something that makes you happy. This doesn't make me happy. Then stop crying. Simple as that. So that's what I gotta tell myself. If I'm like, damn, this is okay, go do something else. Go play golf, bro. Like, what the fuck? So, but you're not gonna stop. So just suck it up and get it done, bro. But I think we've been on almost 2 hours now, bro. This might be the longest one.
Speaking of Kai Green, dude, there's this dude in Gold's Gym Venice. He's a YouTuber/vlogger. One time I seen Kai at the gym, right? And he came up to him with a grapefruit. and
Oh,
he went up to him and he told him, "Hey, can you sign this for me?" Dude,
Yeah.
I just looking at it, I was so disrespected. I'm like,
Yeah.
this motherfucker has this balls to do that, and he wants to take a video with him or a picture or whatever. He thinks it's all funny or cool to say that. He's a total stranger. He's seen him
did
at
Kai,
Ghost Venice. Yeah, yeah.
did Kai keep it professional? Or he went Brooklyn.
Honestly, he kept it professional. I was very surprised because
Probably
he
go
just
go should
laughed
just
it off.
ban that guy. Go should
He
just
laughed it off. Yeah, yeah.
go should
I'm
have kicked
like, wow. Yeah. I was surprised that he did that.
Well,
You
he
know?
said in that documentary he did, he said that he doesn't like to give people a reaction. He actually talked about the grapefruit. He's like, he doesn't like to give people a reaction because that's what they're looking for. He said he's not going to let that define him. So he just lets people talk. He doesn't even, like, so he feels like he'll, if he laughs it off, that's better than, because if he gets a reaction, now the kid has a viral video. You know what I'm saying? Same thing.
Yeah.
He sees those comments, but if he replies to the comments, now it's getting screenshotted and stuff. So it's almost like he has to downplay it. Like he has to let it walk, because if he doesn't, they're gonna get what they want. But it's bro, you can get punched in the face for that, bro. That's a bit too far.
Yeah, like foul. The manager of that goals, they should just kick that kid right out. Like
That's too
right.
far. Uh,
You
that's
know what's so funny? After that, he did a video with him for YouTube. So he let it slip because he's a really famous YouTuber. He did videos with all the top pros. And
yeah,
for some reason, not only he did that, but he ended up doing a video later on with him
yeah. I don't.
for YouTube, like for content. And I was like, what the fuck?
I'd
You
never.
know?
I would
Yeah, me too. Like I was like, these
I
guys are missing the point. Instead of seeing Kai Green and saying, "Oh my God, you're such an inspiration.
a
I would love
legend.
to take a picture with you. Thank you for taking the time to speak to me. Whatever. You look great at that year. Whenever you won the New York Pro, something like that. You know." He's like,
bro,
"No, let me find that one thing he did, and let me."
I don't know how it is on the West Coast, but Kai's from Brooklyn, he's from New York. Kai's a legend down here.
exactly.
He's a
Yeah.
legitimate legend. Like you cannot do that.
I couldn't even walk when I first saw Kai. I couldn't even go up to him, bro. I was like this. I was like, oh shit, that's Kai. I couldn't even walk up to him and introduce myself. I was just like, it took me. We had a mutual friend. That's the only way I was able to even talk to him, because same thing when I seen Victor at his prime. Like you couldn't just walk up to Victor, hey, what's your cycle? Like guys come up to me and be like, hey, what's your cycle, bro? Like, who are you? What are you talking about? But like I couldn't even approach them. But that's how much respect I have for them. You know what I'm saying? It had to be the right atmosphere for me to even approach him. I'm not gonna fuck up his workout. Like in my head, I'm like, okay, let me. But nowadays, people come to you with a grapefruit, bro. That's
crazy. Kai's
That's
legitimately a legend down.
yeah, yeah.
Out here.
next level.
You can't do stuff like that, man. That's crazy.
When he would walk in the gym, the whole gym would kind of just like change
Yeah.
the attitude. Like, you know what I'm saying? He would walk in the, as it should be, bro, But
Now imagine his attitude after I was the next guy over to take a picture with him.
exactly.
He was like, all right, let's do this picture, So
It's a whole different gym atmosphere now, man. It's a whole different. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy.
It's almost like, and that's what I said. It's kind of morphed into people are doing this more for content. So I came out from the gym and I came here. And I'll give a story, right? So I went to Gold's in Bridgewater. I just I was like, let me do a different gym today. That's actually Guy Cisternino's main gym.
Mm-hmm.
The guy at the front that sees me, I'm a big guy. He's like, "Oh man, you're big, your shoulders, blah blah blah. You compete?" I'm like, "Yeah, I compete." He's like, "What division do you compete in?" I said, "Bodybuilding." He's like, "Oh, bodybuilding, like classic physique?" No, I was like, "No, bodybuilding." He's like, "Oh, there's a division called bodybuilding." And my girlfriend and I look at each other like, "Is this where we've come to?"
That's crazy.
People don't even know that a bodybuilding division exists.
Yeah.
And I said, "Yeah, there's a bodybuilding division. It is the actual main show." And everything else is derived from that.
Exactly.
So
that's the first time for me to hear this.
Where we are in society, like things have changed so much that bodybuilders, bodybuilding, the respect and the work ethic, people don't realize how hard it is to get there. They don't see it anymore because they just value social media and the likes, and oh, if this kid can make a viral video, that's all that matters. It's just not valued the way it used to be, like in the 90s.
No, that's
Not
crazy.
at all,
Man.
dude. Unfortunately.
That's insane how times have changed. There's a lot of benefits from social media, but man, there's a lot of negatives too. Like nothing positive comes without some negative, man. Same thing. If you take 1,000 milligrams of tren, some good things are gonna happen, but some bad shit gonna happen too.
God damn. The good old days.
It's one of those things, but gentlemen, it's that time. I'm going hypo again, so yeah, I already know.
It was a great one, you guys. Thank you so much again, man.
Honestly, it was actually a week. I try to keep it like 4 usually, but three is still good too. 3 is still, because I feel like when it's 4, sometimes I'll be trying to say something like, and then somebody go up like, I'll be trying to jump in like, did I don't get to? When it's 3, I feel like the convo flows like in a circle. If you have 3 and maybe one person is on a quiet side, it works. But if you have 4 people who have a lot to say, sometimes it's like, oh, where you go? No, you go. So it's I'm trying to. One time I was gonna do 5. I was like, man, this is not a good idea. I don't think I should do 5.
5 is a lot, yeah.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
I have so much.
Oh, I just remembered that guy, Brian Brazano.
Yeah,
He's also did like 3 shows, won all of them. The only show that he lost was the Olympia when he was 9th place.
He retired.
And then he just retired. Yeah. So this is where he shows it, because he doesn't want to push it to that next level and take drugs and feel unhealthy. So he's like, you know what? I'm good right here. Thank you, guys. See you later.
Bro, he looks insane, man. Listen, I can't knock anybody for retiring. I think, it's a healthy choice, but damn, bro. Sometimes I'll be like, man, you look insane.
He'll be back, man. He'll be back. Listen, I've seen.
You think so?
Train. Yeah, he said the reason why he was retiring is because the way he trains, I think he has a lot of nagging injuries now. Like, his joints feel bad and like stuff like that. But listen, that guy is a bodybuilder's bodybuilder. You don't get to look like that
without
not doing walking the walk and talking the talk.
Didn't he retire before?
Yeah.
He retired a few years. Didn't he retire before, a few years back?
Did he?
I don't know.
I think he took
time off. I know he took time off.
He took like
I don't think he retired. Yeah. He'll be back. Like I feel like he's still young too. Like he's still young. And sometimes you need to take a step back to kind of see, like, because sometimes, especially when you're on that Olympia level, you almost forget how far you've gone.
Facts.
How on top of the ladder you actually are. Yeah. And I think you need to take a step back and see, like, wow, this is what I actually achieved as a bodybuilder. I'm one of the best in the world in the 212. Like, Brian is young. Look, he retired recently, but by the time those aches and pains go away, you lose a little bit of muscle here and there, he'll be back. He'll be back.
I really hope so, because I only mention him because it's one of those great guys that I want to see do well.
I love his physique. Complete. Well, he's got nothing missing. Complete.
Well, speaking of Brian, he works with Compton, and I actually I saw Compton on Tuesday. Bro, this guy is fucking massive. I'm like, what? Because he's down 50 pounds. So in my head, I'm like, okay, if you're down 50 pounds, you're gonna look like a retired bodybuilder. You're gonna have some good muscle. But he was shredded, veins popping. I'm like, did something happen? Did you gain weight? No, this is how I've been. I'm like, what the? He was sat next to Joe, and as huge as Joe was, I'm like, man, Compton, he ain't that far off. Joe was like 285, and I'm like, I thought it was amazing. But Compton till this day can come back and make it to Olympia. I have no doubts in my mind. He has no intentions of doing it, but he also looked younger than I thought. Like in the videos, I'm like, he looked like a top pro body. I mean, he looked like a top pro bodybuilder, like on his cruise. Like that's what I saw.
Why did Compton stop though? I've never gotten the official story of why he actually stopped.
He said it on my podcast, he had, think he had colon. It wasn't that serious, but that was around the time Dallas died and stuff like that. His coaching business started taking off. He was planning on coming back. He tried to come back a few times, but every time he tries, I'll forget exactly what he said, but I don't know if it's a mindset thing or a business thing, but he could never get himself to fully commit. Mind you, he's been doing it since he was like 15.
Yeah.
I think there's some burnout. Once you stop, if you completely stop after like 15 years, it might be hard to get back into that mindset. Like,
by the way, that's exactly why Milos retired, because he fell out of the loop. But he wasn't injured or anything. He just stopped for an off season. He was going to try that for a first time, and then he lost his ways back into a prep lifestyle.
So I never understood how that could be possible, because in my mind I'm like, well, you can't get me to stop unless I choose to stop, right? I remember when I had pneumonia and I was in the hospital, lost all my muscle, right? And I didn't work out for maybe a couple weeks. I remember in the back of my head, I'm like, I don't really feel like going to the gym. And that was weird because that never crossed my mind. Like, how could I just sit home and not go to the gym? I'm like, you know what? It's kind of fun. I got so much free time.
Yeah, but Beatty, he did 73 pro shows. So that's after 73 fucking pro shows.
That's crazy.
You'll be like, I did 73 pro shows. I'm not going to do this shit ever again.
Exactly.
So I can understand. Yeah.
It's hard to understand when we're in the mind frame we are. But, bro, all it takes is taking a good amount of time off. Your brain changes, bro. Your brain, it changes so quick. You think, oh, that could never be me. I would never. The moment you stop, it's kind of like, okay.
That's the because bodybuilding is all time consuming, right? So once you start filling up that time with other things, you realize how much time you put into this.
Exactly.
It starts to weigh on you. You start to say, is it even worth it for me to sacrifice all this time for something that may not, be what I actually want at the end of the day? And I think that's where it is for a lot of people, like Cody, like we said before, he's a dad now. You step out of it for a while and you realize, like, wow, I'm putting 4 hours, 5 hours a day into this bodybuilding thing. That's time I could be spending with my kids, with my family. It's when you're in this, and that's what I always say with the kids that are trying to come up and they see Instagram and all this stuff, to be at this level. And we're not even at the top level, right? We're just national level, early pros. But even at this stage, you really have to be locked in.
All in.
You have to be all in. You have to be all in. And being all in means you're going to have some lonely days, and you're going to have some long nights and early mornings. That's just what it is. It's just what it is.
Nick was backstage at the USA's. And when the supers were going on, I think for the finals, he was chopping it up with us. And he was like, man, one thing I can say is that to get to this level or to pass this level, you got to understand that it's all consuming. You can't waver. You can't wander. You can't be unsure. You can't teeter-totter. You can't, I want to party after. I want to do. This has to be all the fucking time, man. Nonstop, 24/7. This has to be first. And I
never realized how big he is until I seen him in person.
Yeah, he doesn't look that short neither. He's so big he doesn't even look short.
Yeah.
Like, you don't look at him.
I thought I had the best calves of anyone I met. I saw Nick and I was blown away by his calves. I'm like, this guy has way better calves.
He's not even known for his calves. But
exactly. He's what the fuck?
He's pretty freaky. To be honest, that most of us or most people don't understand what these pros really look like. What's his name? Beef Stew. A lot of people they when he had long hair, they think he's Sam Sulek. They're like, oh, that's Sam. But they don't realize how big, bro. You know how big Stu is, bro? In contest shape, he was at the I did the Cal amateur, he did the pro. In contest shape in a t-shirt, he like a caveman, bro. He literally like a caveman. I'm like, what the fuck? This is in contest shape. He's fucking like just like, boy.
I saw him in nationals. He was in his off season back then in nationals, December. He was massive. Like I had known about him because I knew he had won the USA's, but when I saw him then, I was like, wow, like we're not even on the same level. Like this is next level. He was a massive dude.
Man, I mean, even at nationals he won, bro. That was a landslide, bro. I gotta be honest. Like once I saw him backstage pumping up, eating the fucking candy and shit, I'm like, yeah, this is a wrap, man. From the videos, I was like, okay, he got a good front double flash spread. I couldn't really tell. I was like, okay, he got a good physique on him, but I was like, he doesn't look like unbeatable. But man, you see him backstage, like he ain't gonna be beat. He came alive. I also didn't know that he gets flat really easy. So the whole time I was watching the updates, he was flat. So I didn't realize there was another fullness he can get from that. So once he filled out, I'm like, man,
people like that I have the utmost respect for, because have you seen his early days when he was a classic physique guy?
that wasn't
Dude,
that long
he
ago.
looked like a fucking little kid.
But
Now, when you see him right now, he literally is 3 times as the human he was before.
But that was a couple years. That wasn't even that long ago. That was literally a few years back. Like it wasn't even.
Wow.
In 2 years, he gained like 30 pounds of stage weight. Like it was crazy. Some people are made for the sport, and I think when you see it. Like ain't nobody putting on that much stage weight like every year like that. You know what I'm saying? That's not a normal occurrence. Like he was just bodybuilding. Next thing he went from like a not good amateur to a top pro. Like what the fuck? Like overnight, it's insane. And he's not doing anything crazy. He's just doing the same shit he always been doing. He just got hired a coach, and I mean, it's insane, man. But I love seeing it. I love that they're good people like Joe and Martin and Beef Stew and you, Ken and Zay. I like that everybody's cool as well. It's not like a bunch of great bodybuilders with huge egos. Like everybody's super chill, super cool. So that's why I do the podcast. But
there you go. That's good. And thank God we have good kind people, because the last thing you want is to have a lot of ego in the sport. We already have a lot of that.
Exactly.
So
I gotta get Stu back on. A lot of people want to see Stu. He's good conversation, man. But I like Stu. He's straightforward, but he's funny.
He's funny, very funny.
Joking.
Yeah.
But if a dry sense of humor, you don't even know he's joking, but he's talking very sarcastic. But let me let y'all go. Let me try
to for my meal, bro.
I gotta get this meal in, man, and then I want to make it to the gym. Hopefully.
Hopefully.
All right, gentlemen. You already know.
Guys, this was great.
Thank you, guys. I'll see you guys later. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye, you guys.
Yes, sir.